To us, magic sounds like this extraordinary thing, pulling a rabbit out of the hat, coming out of nowhere. But it's here, it's real, and the more that we are open to the unseen, to the energies of this world, to abundance and manifesting, to calling in and growing, the more we'll be able to call magic into our lives. Join me as I share stories, wisdom, and curiosity around connecting with your higher frequency, tapping into the synchronicities of the universe, and opening up to the unseen possibilities that this world has to offer. I am your host, Dayna Faye, and this is the Ordinary Magic Podcast. Today on Ordinary Magic, we have Rae, who is a guide, and she helps you remember your divine presence so you can heal your past, create your future, and transform your present into expanding your consciousness, understanding your spiritual path, and take charge of your destiny so you can fulfill your purpose. Rae is the founder of Radiant Angel and uses guided meditation, angel and oracle cards, angelic Reiki, future life progression, past life regression, and other channeled guidance to assist you in gaining clarity about making the right decisions to live a more fulfilled life. Welcome, Rae.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. I am so excited to chat with you today. And for the listeners, because a lot of them are US based, where are you? Where do you live?
I'm based in Dartford, Kent, which is in the United Kingdom. So it's kind of like between London and Kent. So I'm kind of like on the border.
Oh, wonderful. So fall season for you as well right now. I hope it's going well.
Pouring with rain.
Well, that's a good time of year to eat some cozy soup and put on the layers, right?
Oh, yes. I have to admit, I love autumn because even if it's raining or it's just cold and crisp and the fog in the morning, but it's just, you can just layer up. I much prefer autumn to the rest of the year. I have to admit, it's my favourite time of year.
Yes, I agree. I actually went for a walk in the woods this morning while it was still dark out and then watched the colors come alive and it was super amazing. Yeah,
oh, nice.
So hopefully it stops raining for you soon so you can do that.
Fingers crossed.
Yes. So Rae, you've gotten to this place in your life where you are now guiding other people to fulfill their purpose and fulfill their destiny. And you and I touched base a little bit before this recording today, and you had mentioned to me, I know this is my last lifetime. So you seem like you are on a mission. How did you get to where you are today? Give me your background story. Were you always steeped in the spiritual world, or was there a bit of a journey to getting there?
Well, I was born into a family where my mum did palmistry and psychometry and my aunt did tarot cards. So it's always sort of like there, and there were bits and pieces going on. And I remember my mum went to spiritualist churches. My dad used to take me and my sister along as well, because obviously you can't leave children by themselves. So we had to go along. So I spent a lot of my childhood in spiritualist churches with picking up on everything that was going on. So I've always had that in the background, and I dabbled with runes and tarot and various other things when I was a child. And then, as all these things do, as you start getting into your teenage years, you kind of start falling out of it. But all my friends knew kind of like about it, and I'd have friends who'd be cutting off bits of their hair to give to my mum to do psychometry to find out, about boyfriends and things like that. And I remember once some of the people in my class decided they wanted to do an Ouija board, and I'm not really into that. But they said, can you come along and just make sure we're safe? Which in later life, which I'll touch on, how people can find out their life purpose. Actually, there was a reason why that happened at that time. But then, as said, life got in the way, and I did kind of like bits and pieces. And then about 2000, angels started coming a lot more I noticed them a lot more. But I'd still go and have tarot readings every now and again. And I went to one particular reading, and the guy who did the reading said, oh, I can see you going on a solo journey somewhere. I think it's going to be somewhere like Sri Lanka, somewhere like that. And at the time I'm thinking, yeah, I've never been abroad by myself. But anyway, I thought, I know, I'll go and look on the Lonely Planet website. So I went on, thought I'd look up Sri Lanka, but there was an article on Peru. So I kind of like finished that article. That sounds really interesting. Then a few days later, I turned on the TV and there was the Stephen Fry documentary on Peruvian bears. Now, because of my background, I'm kind of like, oh, a little bit of synchronicity here, there. So I went and ordered a load of brochures because I thought if I'm going to travel by myself, I actually want to travel in a group, but as a solo travel in a group. And it came back and it was like, can't afford this, 15 odd days. So I really don't have the money. And then a few months later, I happened to be remortgaging and there was a mix up between the mortgage companies and I got some compensation, which was the exact amount of one of these tours.
Wow. The exact amount?
The exact amount. It was just kind of like, okay, I need to do this. So I booked it. And then a couple of days before I was due to go, the girl I was working with at the time, she was clearing out her grandfather's attic. And in his attic, she found an old Lonely Planet guide to Peru and a Peruvian map.
Oh my goodness.
And it was like, okay, everything that happened on that trip to Peru, there were 11 other people and we just all clicked. We're all from all over the world, Canada, America, Australia, UK, Ireland. But all 12 of us, there was just something that clicked between us. There were many things that happened during that trip, but the most important one was when I was standing on Machu Picchu, because I did the 4-day Inca Trail to Machu Picchu, which was absolutely amazing. And I'd recommend anyone ever does. But I was standing on one of the platforms, and literally just for a few seconds as I was looking down, it was like I was transported back in time, and there were all these Incans below me, and I was addressing them. Only lasted a few seconds, and it was like, whoa, wow. Did I just go into a past life? Anyway, cut a long story short, I came back to England. It was October time, so autumnish time, and I was sitting in the office and it was pouring with rain out. It was dark by about 3:30ish. It was really horrible weather out, and I just looked outside and thought, I'd much rather be outside in that weather than sitting in front of a computer. And that's kind of like when things started changing and things started coming in, and I really wanted to work with angels, and I came across angelic Reiki. So I did my level 1 and 2 on that. And then again, these synchronicities happen. The woman who I did the angelic Reiki with, she held a retreat down in Glastonbury. I went to that retreat. I met Alexandra Wenman, who used to be the editor of Prediction magazine. She had a friend down there called Sabby, who worked with angels. I got Sabby's book. Sabby then was running a workshop in the Angel Islington in London. I went along to that workshop, and whilst I was there, got talking to a couple of ladies who gave me the details of somebody who taught angelic Reiki near me. So I went and we just hit it off, and I completed all my training with her to actually become a practitioner and a teacher of angelic Reiki as well. Wow. And then I was doing that for a few years, and I set up my business. But the past life stuff was always in my mind, and I was always interested in how the mind works anyway from a kid. And so I did a past life course, and then I found future life progression, which I'd actually found a few years earlier, but I hadn't done anything with it. So I went and did the training on that, and that was absolutely amazing. So it's like, oh, this is something else I can add now, future life, past life, angelic Reiki. And I was doing the guided meditations, doing the angel oracle cards. And I started to set up, where I live, there wasn't a lot of people working with angels or stuff like that. And it wasn't that I felt alone, because I've never not talked about what I've done. Even every job I've had, everyone has always known me, either as the angel person or the witch, because I'm a pagan as well, and I've done Wicca, so I've done witchcraft as well. So with the prompting of a couple of friends, I started an afternoon tea with the angels once a month on a Sunday, where people can come and talk about angels, do guided meditations, cards, and I provide an afternoon tea, and then evening meditations. And that's just kind of like snowballed from there to everything I do now. And the not coming back again with this my last time, I'd kind of like always known that since I was a child. But when I did a future life progression, my first ever future life progression, where I went into a future lifetime, or my next lifetime, I actually saw myself back in the universe. I can't explain it. The energy, the love, it was just the most amazing experience. It's like, oh my God, I've gone back to source. I've gone back to the whole, to the oneness.
Wow.
And again, and someone's done my Akashic records, and again, my Akashic records showed this was my last. And it's like, ooh, I've got a lot of work to do then, because my job is, my role here is to help people remember their divine presence and to take the steps on their spiritual path to actually fulfill their purpose in this lifetime, or to actually start working towards that. So I'm going to live to a very old age, because I've got a lot of work. I've got a lot of work to do before I can put my feet up.
I love that. I love that you got confirmation for that as well. So when you talk about working with angels and that people wanted to come to afternoon tea and talk about angels, can you give us a little insight into that for somebody who's just started on their spiritual path? How can they work with angels?
It's a good question. Angels are always there with us. And from my experience and from the work I've done, we're all, when we come into this lifetime, we all have our own personal guardian angel. Now, obviously, there are many different types of guardian angels, so it could be a departed loved one who comes back. But each of us is given a personal guardian angel that comes through with us when we are born, and that one is always there with us and never has any judgment about us and will always love us unconditionally. And the best way to start connecting is just basically saying, good morning, my guardian angel.
That's simple.
That's simple. Talking to your guardian angel during the day, at night time, thanking your guardian angel for being with you. Obviously, they don't have particular names, but it's nice to have a name to give someone. So one of the easiest ways is just literally before you're about to go to sleep, just say, my guardian angel, can you tell me what your name is or what you would like me to call you? And the first name that comes into your head, or a name you dream of, or when you first wake up the next morning, or when you put on the radio or something like that, a name will come, you'll hear a name, and that will be the name of your guardian angel. Now, it doesn't have to be an exotic name like Gladriel or anything like that. It could be just plain Fred.
Do you have a name for yours?
Yes, and I've got two. Well, I had one that came with me originally and then one that joined me. So my original one is called Ariel, who came with me. And my other one is, oh gosh, that's gone out of my head. How strange. Obviously, she doesn't want to be named.
Yeah, she's like, keep that private.
Yeah, keep that one private. Ariel's okay, yeah, I'm going to say that. But the other one, yeah, no, completely gone out of my head. So she obviously doesn't want to have her name mentioned. And sometimes they do that. They don't want to be mentioned because it's between you and the angel.
Well, and I think it's very human of us to want to name something, but it's really an energy. It doesn't have to be explained through words, this guardian angel. It can be explained through feeling of what does it feel like.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't see angels, I have never ever seen an angel. I just know they're there. I just feel their presence. I sense their presence. And again, you don't necessarily need to see it or even feel it there. It's just as long as you know and you communicate. All through the day, I'm always talking to my angels, asking for help with parking spaces, queues in supermarkets, giving my woes, my troubles to, asking for advice, and then just taking the time to sit there and listen. What answer are they giving me? And if I'm not getting any answers, then what synchronicities are they showing to me? Because the universe and angels, whenever we ask for guidance, will always show us the answers. But we have to be aware and look out for them.
Yes.
And be ready to listen to them.
Yeah, and build that muscle. It doesn't just start right away. But I was in the woods this morning asking for guidance, and a voice that sounded like my voice was speaking to me right away. And I knew that was my angels or my guides or my higher self. I'm not really sure, and it doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter.
But it's funny because the answers they were giving me, I didn't like. I was like, no, that's not. So I definitely knew it was guidance because I was like, this is not what I wanted to hear.
Exactly. And I bet the guidance was positive as well. So even though it didn't sound, because that's how you know that it's not your ego speaking, because any advice you're given, or even if you're told off by them, and I have been told off before, it's always done in a positive, loving way. There's never any negativity about it. So when you're asking, as long as if the answers are, even if you don't like them or they're telling you off, but they're positive with it, then you know it's an angel, your higher self, etc. If it's negative, putting you down, then it's your ego.
Yeah, that's a good way to differentiate that.
Yeah, that can influence people the wrong way sometimes because they don't distinguish between what is their ego and what is higher divine guidance that's coming through for them.
Yeah, I think it's so cool that you grew up already being exposed to the spiritual world, working with tarot and ruins. And like you said, you're pagan and you've done witchcraft. We didn't have any of that language that was real when I was younger. I was obsessed with Harry Potter because now I realize some of the stuff is real, but I didn't know it when I was younger, and I'm still hung up on owning it. And this podcast is all about making magic ordinary again. What would you say to people who feel insecure about that? Like, clearly you said all my coworkers always knew, like, I was the witch, I was, that person or whatever. You've owned it. Do you have any advice for the people who it's kind of hard to own it, that they may feel lonely in this journey?
It's find support, find the people around you that support you, find the community that give you that boost to do that. Don't listen to the people that try and put you down. Don't get me wrong, have been having conversations, and I remember, in fact, one boss, I think I was talking about unicorns in the office, and I literally saw him roll his eyes, and he's, whatever. But when it came to, in this country, what we do is we have a secret Santa in the office at Christmas, where you buy a present for somebody, normally a joke present as something. And my secret Santa was a little toy unicorn, one of those collectible TY ones. And my boss actually made a point of going, I got that for you. Now, although he thought it was a joke thing, it actually was a really gorgeous thing. So subconsciously, he'd picked up on that. So it's kind of like, if you're staying in your own truth and you're not preaching it at people, you're just speaking how it comes to you, and you don't allow others' energy to affect you, then you can speak your truth. And you can always ask for, if you know you're going to be in a situation where you might end up talking about it because someone is going to be talking about something, and you know that actually I'm probably going to bring in something spiritual, angelic, magical in that. A guardian angel to come and be with you and put that protective love around you, so that you can sort of like speak your truth. And another thing is also, if you've got children of your own, encourage them to speak their truth. I was very lucky in that at school I had moments of shyness, don't get me wrong, mate, but I was always sort of like in the playground. If someone wanted me to do something, I'm going, no, I'll do that, and they'd go, well, if you're not going to do it, I'm not going to be your friend. And I was kind of like, well, if you want to make me do it, then you can't be my friend, can you? So I was happy to be alone if I didn't have anyone on there. And again, this is something that people can use if they want to find their purpose in life, if they want to have that strength to speak their truth. Look back to your childhood, because things that you did in your childhood actually can help you in your current lifetime. So when I look back at my childhood, I loved kaleidoscopes. I work with sacred geometry.
Oh.
I loved looking at the stars and moon. My parents got me a telescope, the astrology, the galactic stuff. I wanted a microscope because I always was questioning everything. And again, that's allowed me to ask questions about what's going on to get the answers. I've always loved telling stories, guiding people through stories. As I said, at school, they asked me to make sure they were safe. Now I know that's me holding space for people. So look back at what was in your childhood and draw the strength from that. So when you're talking about all this stuff, coming out of your spiritual closet, draw on that energy that you've got, ask for the protection around you, and just allow yourself to speak your truth, and don't allow anyone to put you down. And if they do start putting you down or rolling their eyes, just continue anyway.
Yes, that is such a great exercise to look at your childhood and remember what you naturally did already. It's not we get the job after we're out of high school. Like you've already been doing what you're meant to be doing while you were a child effortlessly. So sometimes that can get overlooked.
Yeah, totally. We really do tend to forget about childhood. And again, it's like if you've got your own children, nurture them, what they're doing, that imaginary friend. They want to play with crystals. They love animals. They love jumping in ponds, whatever. Encourage that and allow them to expand on that. And then they'll grow up not being afraid to say who they are.
What a great example. Let's go to past life regressions. You had mentioned that was super helpful for you, that like as you're on this journey of also becoming the facilitator, you also had to do your own personal development. And that's an ongoing journey. How did past life regression work help with that?
It allowed me to go back and see issues that might have affected me in my current life. It allowed me to go back and experience, to look at what had happened, why it happened, and learn from it and heal from it, so that when I came back to my current life, it no longer affected me. So I wasn't replaying those issues out in my life. And it also allowed me to look at the ancestral line. So, all the things that have been passed down through my mum's lineage or my dad's lineage, going back into the past has helped look at that. And okay, so this is why this thing happens all the time through the family. So by me going back and experiencing, understanding and healing and learning from it, that changes the timeline. That changes the ancestral line. So I'm doing the work and the clearing on behalf of the other people on my ancestral line, so that future generations will no longer have that situation. So in general, if you were to say all the females in the family have, I don't know, maybe had an abusive relationship, let's just say, and it's generation to generation, you go back and you heal that from your past. So whether it's your own personal past or the ancestral past, and you learn and clear that starts clearing it for everyone else that's still alive.
So even like your sister, for example, like if you healed something for your women, it would also heal for your sister.
Yes. Yeah, and future generations. And that's the beauty of past life regression.
I am quickly interrupting this episode to tell you about my human design offerings. Are you wanting to learn more about what your human design is all about? I am able to help you apply it to your life and start living your design today. I offer a human design audio guide, which is a great entry level into your human design. We go over the most important layers, which are your energy type, strategy, authority, your biggest gift in this world, your profile, and your life theme. I also offer a full 90-minute human design reading over Zoom, and that includes a very robust document that you get to take home as well. The full reading are for people who know they want to dive deep right away, or people who have already started their human design journey and want to start applying it to their life. You can find your human design audio guide or the full human design reading on my website at daynafaye.com. That's DAYNAFAYE.com. I hope to connect with you soon.
And sometimes what you think you need to heal is not what you need to heal at all. One client came to me and she came to see me because she was a little bit overweight and she was constantly snacking. And her friend said to her, "Oh, I bet you were starved in a previous lifetime, in a past life." So she came to see me. So we regressed her, took her back in time. and she was from, I think we went back to the 1700s, and she wasn't poor, wasn't starved. She had a normal, it's quite a sedentary, boring life actually, but she was fed, looked after. And on her deathbed, her greatest regret was that she hadn't done anything with her life. You know, she had just let life pass her by and not done anything, which in retrospect with my client was she really wanted to go out and do tarot readings. That was what she wanted to do. But instead of doing that, she had that thing of, I'll do that tomorrow. Oh, whilst let me present, I'll have a biscuit. So she'd start snacking rather than doing. So by going back into that past life and her understanding, learning from it, healing from it, when she came back to her current life, she actually stopped the snacking. She actually started reading tarot cards and she started to lose weight.
Wow.
So that was something from not what she thought it was, but what her higher self, the universe, said, actually, this is why this has happened. So sometimes what we think we need to go back and resolve isn't actually what we do need to go back. And sometimes you might want to go back in time, but your higher self will go, no, you don't need to go back in time yet. So you'll go forwards in time, or you go to another dimension and you start working in that, which then allows you to understand and accept, to then allow you to go back and do a past life. So I never know when someone comes to see me for past life or future life, whether they're going to go to that lifetime. It may be they go to a different time because that is what they need to know and understand first before they do the other one.
And when they do that, they're coming to you and you're facilitating like a guided meditation. Is that how that works?
Yeah, it's kind of like, I like to call it a waking dream. So I put people into a nice relaxed state, you know, physically, mentally, but they're in control all the way through it. So I put it to, if you're driving from A to B and you get to B and you go, God, I don't remember this drive here, but you know you stopped at traffic lights and everything like that. That is what a waking dream is. So you're aware and conscious, but you're relaxed enough that your subconscious, your higher self can come through and give you the guidance that you need to actually experience that. And obviously I'm there guiding you on the right path, keeping you on track so you're not deviating off unless you need to deviate off. And then I guide you on that one and then bring you back to the other. So all I'm doing is I'm just holding the space and guiding you and asking the questions, but you're supplying the answers and you're doing the experience. I don't have any control over that. You have complete control over that yourself.
What a cool experience. You know, if you've tried everything else and that story was so simple, you know, she was snacking too much. Someone would look at that as in like procrastinating, which is kind of what it was. But to get the reason behind that, she was able to make those next steps and change her life that much quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just so amazing how the universe works, how the mind works, how quantum physics. It's just so amazing. No, it's not actually amazing. It is just it's you could say it's magical. It just is, and we have to accept it.
Yes.
Not question what goes on in the universe, not question magic. You know, children don't. You know, they use their imaginations. They understand magic, they accept it. And that's what we should all be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a story about that. My sister the other day, she's the one who has the woods behind her condo, and they recently had to chop down a few trees.
Oh.
I know, but when I walked past them freshly chopped, I put my bare hands on the tree and I just felt the energy from that tree just way more powerful than it was so powerful. And I told her about it. She's not really into this work at all. She was like, okay. Next time she walked past that tree with her fiance, she's like, okay, let's take our gloves off and give this a try. And she was like, oh my God, I felt it. And her fiance was like he at first was like, I don't know. And then he waited a little bit. He just brought some awareness to it and intention, and he felt it. He felt the vibration. The magic is there, you guys. It's there. So tell us about multidimensional things that are happening, if that's starting to come online for you while you're facilitating with people or in your own personal journey.
Yeah, it actually came about because I work with others and we do exchanges. And we're doing exchange, and the lady was taking me into a future. I ended up going to, it's kind of like Shangri-La, Nirvana. And I was given the name Corel, and literally I got there and I was standing on this mountain looking over other mountains, and the colours were so beautiful: purple, reds, oranges, yellows, golds. It was just this amazing mountain landscape, and I was on this greenish grass, and it was kind of like, it's like, oh, this is Corel. Okay, where did that come from? It's kind of like a Nirvana. It's like I've travelled through the universe to this. So I sort of like explored it, and I started channeling light language from it, and I just explored. So that was my experience. And then I said to the lady I was doing with, let me try and take you there. So I took her through a journey, going through her heart, through the universe to Corel. And it was slightly different for her because it turns out Corel is your own personal Shangri-La Nirvana for the person that's experiencing it at the time. So it may not be the mountaintop, but when they get there, they will either go past lives, future lives, other dimensions, other galaxies, other planets. It's kind of like going through portals in time.
Wow.
So it's kind of like all the work I've done with the past life and the future life. Yes, they're great and they're basics that people understand. When I start bringing that into Corel itself, it actually becomes a lot more multidimensional. The experiences tend to be a little bit more deeper, and it's like you are in your own personal, and every single person's experience is so different, and they experience Corel differently to everybody else.
Wow. And what is the point of that? Did you just feel like it was healing?
It's healing and understanding and helping people remember their divine presence. And I find that when they get there, that's when I will start doing light language at certain points if they need healing during that, or to understand or implement something. I will suddenly start doing light language. But what's really interesting, it's not the same each time. So you have people that do light language and they know quite often they're channeling the same sort of like words and voices. Mine is different, again, depending on the person I'm working with. So it's like other galactic energies are coming through, or energies or whatever coming through, and actually doing the healing that's needed for the person at that moment in time. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm now taking people back to their first ever lifetime on Earth, taking them back to a lifetime where they've come from, whether that's from another planet or another dimension. And it's just a natural progression, I think, that started as the energies on Earth are changing, and I'm sort of like growing more on my spiritual journey, on my spiritual path, that the multidimensional stuff is just slotting in. It's not, I've not consciously thought, oh, I need to start doing light language, I need to be doing this. It's just come in, and I've recognized it, and I've started working with it.
That's so neat. What a great reminder to help us surrender to whatever's meant to come through. Like your mind cannot decide what you're meant to offer in regards to your magical gifts. Like, just practice it, offer what you can at this moment, and then whatever's meant to come through in the future will, probably in divine timing.
Yeah, exactly. And again, if things aren't going right for you, and I know a lot of people obviously with what's happened over the last few years, a lot of people's lives have completely changed. It's like the rug has been pulled out from under them. And that happened to me at one point. But I had the experience, and with all the stuff I've done, that I looked at it from a bird's eye view. I overlooked it. Okay, why has this happened? what benefits can I get from this? What can I learn from this? And by seeing the bigger picture, it's like, oh, that came on to push me onto this path. Okay, well, let me do some healing from that. Let me understand that. And then I can move forward. I look back and I go, oh yeah, see why that happened now.
It's as simple as having a bit of faith. I mean, I agree with you. These past 2 to 3 years have been the hardest years. And yet, if you have faith that you'll be able to see the growth lesson or the spiritual lesson from it someday, it'll feel really good once you get to the other side of that.
Yeah, oh, it feels absolutely amazing when you get to the other side. And everyone will get to the other side. But you just have to have that trust and that faith that the universe has got your back. And it will all, and again, looking out for the synchronicities. We're always, always, always being guided. We just don't see it.
Yes. And when you start to lose that faith, talk to your angel. Ask them for help.
Absolutely.
Just say, hey, I need some faith today. I just need to get through to the other side.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're there for. They came with you to be that guide for you, to hold that unconditional love, to help you on your journey. So connect with them.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. So tell us about your offerings. Give us what you're going to be up to, over this next year and what you're excited about.
Well, running more retreats down in Glastonbury. I love running the retreats down there. Growing my membership, which is absolutely amazing. The community that is building up inside there it's so amazing to see the journey that the people in there are actually going on, and watching them develop and grow, the confidence that they've got to speak their truth. And then some programs that I'm putting together. I'm creating more and more guided meditation. I've got so many I need to re-record that when I do the afternoon tea with the angels or my evening meditations, I'm always channeling guided meditations. And I've got so many that I need to put out there now that I need to really get into that. And then, of course, obviously my show, Angels and Destiny, that's on Facebook and YouTube, and that's live, and that's a video pod. I'm looking forward to the guests I've got coming on. It's the guests I've met so far, as you must with when you're doing your podcast. You learn so much and you get to connect with so many amazing people, and it's like, wow, this is just,
Yes.
just amazing. And of course, if I find my retreat property, that's something I'm looking to coming towards me as well. I saw it in a 5-year future life progression. So in the next couple of years, that should be coming in. So yeah, so there's lots going on and lots happening.
So many exciting things.
Oh my God, yeah. It's just, where am I going to find the time?
Yes, that is so much, but that's so exciting. And you're totally right. Talking with people like you just expands my consciousness of what's possible, and also gives me the confidence and courage to keep talking about these things, which is so cool.
And that's what we should be doing. The more people that talk about these things, the much better life's going to be. And, and again, it's the collective consciousness. We, as a collective consciousness, we create what goes on in the world. So the more people that are talking about positive things, that are experiencing and talking about the universe, about angels, about magic, about all the potential possibilities there are, they will come into fruition. They will change the world. They will change our lives. We just need more of us to actually be speaking our truth.
Yes, that is my biggest takeaway from talking with you today, is to speak your truth, because it's totally worth it to be 100% authentically you. And you can ask your angel for protection if you're nervous about it, or you're hanging out with some relationships that you don't always feel comfortable speaking your truth in. And little by little, you will just come into this place where you're 100% authentically you. And that's so important, like you said, for the collective consciousness. That is what we need.
Yeah, absolutely. And finding the right community, the right people who support you on your journey. That is so, so important, because we're not meant to be here alone. And there is always somebody that you will find if you ask. Again, ask my angels, bring a group of people or a person into my life that I can share this with, and then be open to the possibilities of that person coming in or that group of people coming in.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Rae. It's been so fun talking with you today, and I'm excited to watch your journey and hear about your retreat space someday in the future, and that's very exciting.
It is, and thank you so much for having me on your show. It's been absolutely amazing. And as you know, as you've experienced, I just talk.
No, I love it. Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Ordinary Magic is a Lit Path Studios production, produced by Jamie Gale and Dayna Faye. Music is by Shane Ivers. Until next time, I wish you many powerful moments of ordinary magic.